Hey, I'm Father Paul Seil. Welcome to our Daily Bread. Today we're going to be highlighting 3 ministries in our Diocese of Buffalo, and we're going to connect them with some foods. The first one is a banana pineapple pie that's going to be created by Sister Marianne Butler, who's from Bisonet House and representing one of our local parishes. And then we tasted a really scrumptious little broccoli casserole with cheese and all kinds of good things, and that's going to be created by Kathy Brunner from St. Christopher's Parish, where they have a family ministry that's very interesting. I want to learn about the Family Promise ministry there. And then finally, we're going to have a shrimp and pasta casserole, or shrimp and pasta dish that Carol Mullins is going to make, and she's from St. John Paul II Parish, and talking about their ministry too. So it's, except for me, it's all women today on our Daily Bread, and I hope you'll enjoy our program. Now, Sister, you were on the program once before, years ago, I guess.
Right.
You know, and you've been working at Bisonet House in Buffalo for how many years?
14.
14 years. When did you start? I know it was 14 years ago, but you were about, what was your age then, approximately?
I can't subtract.
Okay. Well, you said, and I would not tell your age unless you told me, but you're about 83 now?
I'm going to be 83.
83, wonderful. And you're still working at Bisonet House on a voluntary basis.
Right.
You're officially retired, but we know religious never retire.
Oh,
right?
no, never.
Never retire. And we're going to be making a pie. So what are we going to do here? What do I need first?
You need 3.5 cups of milk.
3.5 cups of milk. And you've put the cream cheese in here, right?
Right.
How much cream cheese is that? About
8 ounces.
8 ounces, okay. Now, Sister, many of our viewers may not have any idea what Bisonet House is. And I know it's named for Father Joseph Bisonet, who was murdered at that house a number of years ago, over 25 years ago, right?
Right.
And it was the rectory in which he was living at what used to be, you want me to mix this together, is that the
Correct.
idea? Correct. Okay. Now, he was serving there in the parish.
Right.
And his life was taken by a couple of robbers. And tell us then how Bisonet House itself started after that.
Well, Sister Karen decided to work with...
Now, Sister Karen is Sister Karen Ann...
Klimczak.
Klimczak,
right.
Yes.
She's a sister of St. Joseph also. She decided to work with men coming out of prison. And so she started with his house, and there were probably about 8 men there at the time. And she would work with them, have them go out and get jobs, make sure they got to parole, showed them how to live outside of prison.
I see. So we've got Jell-O here, Jell-O pudding, instant vanilla pudding, right? All right. And
2 packages.
2 packages.
Right.
2 packages, okay. Now, Sister Karen, sadly, her life was also taken from her.
Right.
By, unfortunately, one of the residents of the house murdered her for her cell phone.
That's correct.
A number of years ago. And I guess the house stands as a memorial, really, to both of them.
That's Sister, right. Well, it's been enlarged twice, too. So that they could accommodate all the men.
Who owns or who runs, is it a Catholic, specifically a Catholic organization? Do they have a separate board? Is it affiliated with the diocese or not?
They have a separate board. It's not affiliated with the diocese per se. But they do have the board, and they have their own. Vivian Walls is in charge of the Karen Klimczak Foundation.
I see.
So, yeah, that's the way. You got to beat it up. Yep.
Okay, all right. You're giving me the hard work here, Sister.
That's right.
That's all right. I can handle it.
Well, I figured you could.
I'm trying, yeah. So just like that?
Yeah.
There we go. That's setting pretty fast.
It does set fast.
All right.
Which is good.
Tell us, too, about Bisonet House. Now, there are people, they need food there. They need to be fed.
Oh, yes.
So the parish of Nativity of our Blessed Virgin Mary, of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Harris Hill, they provide meals sometimes? Is that what I understand?
The 3rd Thursday of the month, they bring the whole meal. The meal plus dessert, and they sit and they and interact with the fellows.
Do they cook it there?
No, they cook it at home, but they bring it here, but they bring it in.
They interact. By the way, what do I need to do now? Do we need the bananas next, or what?
Yes, the bananas, yeah, the bananas go
Okay.
on.
Let's see.
Here's your knife.
Oh, there's a knife. And what am I going to do with the bananas? Just slice them thin?
Yeah, and then just we put them on the bottom.
You know, I guess one of the things, it's a difficult thing to say, but after the death of Sister Karen, you know, I think a lot of people might say, well, what's the point in doing this? You know, I mean, you know, one person lost their life and now another person lost her life. You know, and I guess it's what would you say to those people as far as the Christian message?
Well, you don't stop because somebody was murdered.
Right.
You continue to work with the men. It was only one man that did it. It wasn't everybody.
Right.
And so you continue to work with them. They need your help, and they need to know that somebody cares about them. Otherwise, we're not going to get any place.
Is this too thick or is this okay?
No, that's fine.
That's
Because we put half and half.
We're going to put half. Well, let's do this one first and we'll get that one to start setting. Now, sister, I hope you won't think me rude, but I am going to take a little taste of this right now
Go right ahead.
because it's really pretty much set. You'd probably put it in the refrigerator for an hour or so. a couple
3
of
hours.
3
3 hours, it says here.
And
But you can take a piece.
thank you. We ask God to bless this food and Sister's ministry and hope you keep healthy and cooking a lot of pineapple pies for the guys. It's all guys at Bisonet House, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we remember Father Joe Bisonet and Sister Karen Klimzek. And,
The ladies at Nativity.
well, it's darn good. And I'm not a fan of bananas, but if you make them down the bottom far enough, it's just perfect.
You can miss them.
Hi, welcome back to our Daily Bread. And we're having a program today based on service of different types, ministry. And we started with a pineapple pie from Bisonet House. We're going to be making now a broccoli casserole. And then we're going to wrap up the show with a pasta and, what's in the pasta? Shrimp and pasta. And right now joining me from St. Christopher's Parish in our Diocese of Buffalo in Tonawanda, New York, is Kathy Brunner. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Paul.
And what do you got going on here?
I am just poured in.
Hold on one
three-
second. We
three-quarters
want to
cup-
tell them we got already in here. You got
I have
some
3/4
mayonnaise.
cup of mayonnaise.
You could use a low-fat mayonnaise or a light mayonnaise.
usually do, yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay. And you have the famous mushroom soup
The
in a can?
famous mushroom soup in a
Okay.
can.
All we need now are, what do they make? Green beans and onion rings, all right? For the casserole.
Well,
Now, you're involved with a group called Promise,
it's Family Promise,
Family Promise of Western New York.
correct?
Now, this is not specifically a Catholic organization, is it?
No, it's an interfaith organization,
Uh-huh.
and it's all church-based, though.
Okay.
Church or congregation-based.
I remember a few years ago I was asked to kind of, be involved in this, and I found that it was very difficult to get people to commit to this particular program, to be volunteers, because it's a real strong commitment you have to make. What does Family Promise of Western New York do?
Okay, what it does is a church will house a family for an entire week during the evenings and on the weekends. During the day, the families go to a resource center. These are all families who are temporarily homeless. So it is getting yourself involved with homeless families. And the beauty of it is that you learn that we are all one step away from being homeless. There are people just like us, and we've met some wonderful people through the program. In terms of what you said about getting volunteers, yes, in the beginning, it's intimidating. It was intimidating for me when we were asked to do it, especially since I was asked to be a co-chair for the program. But once we did it the first time, it was so much easier because, again, like I said, we got to learn that these were families in crisis, and we felt like we could do some good for them.
How long has your parish been involved in this?
Since it started back up in Western New York, which was 2010, And so
2002,
once a quarter, because there's 13 congregations involved usually, approximately once a quarter we will house a family.
So 4 weeks a year.
Correct.
So you house them, and where do you house them?
Well, we were fortunate at St. Christopher's that we were able to do this because we had a rectory that was available. We combined with St. Edmund Parish, so the priests that we have live at the residence over at the St. Edmund site.
I see.
And so we had available bedrooms and bathrooms with showers, which is especially nice for the families.
What's the largest family you've hosted?
We had a mom with 5 children. And so we have had families of 5 and 6. We can only house 3 families at a time, but that's more restricted by the fact that the van that they have only can carry 14 people. So a van comes and picks the families up early in the morning.
Well, how do they make an outreach to these families? I mean, do you just go out on the street, or they get referrals?
They get referrals from social services,
Uh-huh.
you know, from Catholic Charities.
Are there a lot of, and from Catholic Charities as well?
Correct.
So are there a lot of homeless people?
More than we'd like to know about. There really are. Family Promise is somewhat unique in that we house entire families, whereas if someone were to go to some of the shelters that they have, the women and the men need to be separated. And why that becomes important is a perfect example that I use is that we had a mom once that had 2 teenage boys, 14 and 17. She would have had to go into a women's shelter, and those young boys would have had to go into a men's shelter.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
at that young age, it would be very difficult for
Right,
them.
especially I would think for a 14-year-old.
Correct, yeah.
Now, okay, we're making this broccoli casserole. You had me chop up about a medium size or half a large onion. You want that in now, or do we hold off on that?
We can dump all the ingredients together. I do need to get a couple eggs.
I love that technical cooking term. We can dump everything together. Okay, so we have the soup, we got the mayonnaise, we got the cheese, we got the onions, and what do we need next?
We're going to add 2 eggs.
2 eggs, whole eggs?
Yep. I put in 2 packages of broccoli.
Now, what would you say to other people who might be interested in this particular ministry?
Well, I would suggest they can find out more information at Family Promise of Western New York's website, which is fpwny.org.
And there's a number to call, too.
And there's
if you
a
wanna
number that
call.
they can call.
Area code 716-771-3007. And then that's going to go in the oven for how long?
It's going to go in the oven at 350 for 30 minutes.
Okay.
We're going to, instead of dotting with butter, I use the spray butter, just a little easier. Especially give it a little spritz.
Well, I think if I'm going to go all the way out with the full-fledged mayonnaise and the cream of mushroom, I'd probably put melted butter on instead. Just because, you know.
Yeah.
So this goes in the oven and the other one comes out. And we've got one already going, which is going to come out right now. And it looks very tasty, of course. You can't go wrong. And it's great to learn about new ministries, wonderful things we can do. And I think the Family Promise Ministry is one of the really very interesting, one of the really interesting concept of really doing something to help people who really are in need, really homeless, and can move from parish to parish. It's wonderful. So if you're interested in that, you should call or get involved in your own area. This is our broccoli casserole made by Kathy Brunner
Yes.
from St. Christopher's in Tonawanda, New York. Oh, it's hot. Oh, I'm trying to get down there. All right. We thank God for the blessing of this food, for Kathy and for the ministry of Family Promise. It's very hot. And we'll be right back after this with more of our daily bread. Don't go away.
Don't do that. You just burnt your mouth, didn't you?
No. Very good. Welcome back to our Daily Bread, where we are celebrating ministry, service by people to other people in our community. We started off with a pineapple banana pie for the guys at Bisonet House, and then we tasted a really scrumptious little broccoli casserole with cheese and all kinds of good things. And now Carol Mullins, who is from St. John Paul II Church, and you're involved in outreach there, Carol.
Yes, I
and we
am.
are making a pasta with shrimp.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about, why are we making this dish?
Why are we making this
Yes.
dish? Because it's something I usually do when I have company. When there's something important happening, I try to impress people with this dish because it tastes so good.
Why?
Why
shrimp?
Why shrimp?
Why shrimp?
Because it's my favorite food.
Oh, is it? How
Yes,
come?
it is. I love the flavor of it.
Okay.
In any dish. But you
It's,
can make this dish with just vegetables. You can make it with chicken. You can use just
Okay.
about anything in this dish.
There's actually surprisingly a lot of ingredients that are going into this,
There are.
and a lot of breath enhancing ingredients.
This is true.
You have shallots, or some people say shallots. Shallots, we have garlic, we have onion, we have some Roma tomatoes chopped up, we've got some chopped up red and orange peppers, we got some basil, and I believe this is thyme, right?
Yes, it is.
All fresh, and a
All
little
fresh.
tomato paste.
A little bit of tomato
And we're going to
paste,
do that.
yeah.
Now, should I throw the pasta? Our water's boiling. Should the pasta go in now, or should
Well,
I start up the pan?
I
or
think
what do
we
you
should
want me to
start
do?
up the pan. We're going to put
Start
some
up the
olive oil
pan.
and 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan.
Okay. Now you use olive oil and butter. 2 tablespoons of each, you said about?
Well, 2 tablespoons of butter,
Of butter.
and I don't measure the olive oil. You can measure
Okay.
it if you want.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
right.
like to pour it in.
Oops, no, I'm a pourer from way back. Okay. Now you have now kind of tried to help pick up this outreach ministry where you got to learn everything.
I've got to learn everything. I'm brand new at this.
What's the hardest thing to learn?
When a need comes in and I haven't already discovered a resource, researching the resource quickly so that I can help people.
What else do you have in the parish? Now, some places have different things they call outreach. We have a
Yes.
program at St. Bernadette's, my parish here, that we call Parish Neighbors. They often depend on, well, they always depend on the generosity of donors, but also on volunteers, right?
Right, and we do have a Parish Neighbors program,
Uh-huh.
and they provide assistance with funeral breakfasts. So they have networks of people that they call when there is a funeral at our parish,
Mm-hmm.
and those people will cook and bake and bring the food so that we can offer a funeral breakfast to any family who has a funeral at our parish.
I see.
And we
Okay.
have teams of people who do that work. So that's our Parish Neighbors program.
What's the biggest challenge you've had so far as someone who is trying to do this outreach with others and to help people?
Assessing the true need of people. I have found that the most important thing for me to do is assess what is happening so that we know what should be happening. And when someone comes to us with a need, we need to assess the true need. So it's a matter of meeting with those people, talking through what kind of help they've had in the past, where that help is coming from, and how we might be able to help them.
It's interesting, too, that it's not just throwing money or services at a problem.
That's right.
It's really you have to get to know the person. That's a
Absolutely.
big part of it.
That's
It's
right.
a very person-to-person oriented
Exactly.
activity. It's
Yes.
not, a government job. It's not a job at all. It's a ministry that
It is a
people are
ministry.
doing.
Yes, it is.
We should probably get some
So yes,
stuff cooking or what?
our shallots are ready to go. We can put those into the,
That's a lot of shallots.
that
I'll
is a
tell you.
lot of shallots.
What's the story? You like shallots?
They make the
just like-
dish.
yeah?
They make
They
the
do,
dish.
huh?
Yes, they make the
Okay.
dish. They're wonderful. And when we put those in, we're also going to put in the onions and the
Okay.
garlic. And we want to just cook those for a few minutes until they start to caramelize. On
Okay.
medium-high heat.
Medium high. Yep, I'm on medium high.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And we've got the onions.
2 medium onions. And whenever I make this dish, I make it for company. So because I'm making it for guests, I always make a large batch.
Great.
And a
And
full,
garlic.
a full bulb of
A
garlic.
whole bulb of garlic.
Whole
Wow.
bulb of garlic.
You've been
yes.
chopping all morning, it looks like,
That's
huh?
right.
You don't have to be a good Catholic or Christian or even a good person of faith to do what you're doing. Why is it different if it's done by a church?
Well, because within the church, we're a community. We are a community who come together for worship, but we're also a community who come together to share each other's burdens and share each other's triumphs and our struggles, our trials, and our joys. So in order to know what the needs are, we need to be in community so
Yes.
that we can share our needs and concerns, and also share the needs and concerns of others who might not want to come forward and tell us about their needs. Then we can contact them and say, is there something we can do to help you?
Well,
Now
with
we're
our food
gonna
now, what do we got? What goes in
we're
next?
gonna add the red peppers.
The red
next,
peppers, okay.
And then we're gonna put in about 2 tablespoons of fresh thyme. You can use dried thyme, but the fresh is just a little bit more pungent. So we want
Okay.
about 2 tablespoons of that, and I never measure, I just estimate.
Well, I don't measure much either, so. And the
These tomatoes can go in now.
tomatoes?
Yeah, we don't want those to cook too long, so we put them in close
All of these
to the end.
tomatoes? All the tomatoes?
Sure.
Okay.
All the tomatoes.
These are Roma tomatoes?
Those are Roma tomatoes
that
chopped.
you
There's
just kinda
probably about
cubed and,
right, about 4 Roma
Okay.
tomatoes. And now we're going to season it. Salt and pepper.
how much do you use?
I usually use close to a teaspoon in
Oh, that's
this
a
dish.
teaspoon,
So
sure.
there you go.
And how do you do
And
with the
a
pepper?
little bit of pepper,
Okay.
unless you like it spicy, and then a little bit
either
more.
way, you know.
Okay. And now
Sometimes I like the little red pepperoncini, but this is, you're calling this more of a French dish than
Provençal.
Provençal.
Right. And now we'll put in 2 tablespoons of Italian herbed tomato paste.
Okay. Now you can put the tomato paste in with the Italian herbs, or if you want to add the Italian herbs,
Yes.
what are Italian herbs usually? if I forget?
Oregano. We've
Oregano,
already put thyme in there.
basil, thyme.
Basil. Right.
Yeah.
And
we
now
got the
we're
basil is going to be on the very end. Is that it?
yes. After the wine goes
Okay.
in, then the basil goes in.
2 cups of wine.
I
How
would
much
say-
wine?
Yes, about 2 cups.
About
so that'd
2
be about
cups.
half a bottle, probably.
Let me break down this tomato paste a little bit here too. You know what would be good in here too, I think, is a little bit, if you don't tell anybody it's in there, a little anchovy paste.
Ah.
You like anchovies or not?
I don't.
You're
I don't
no?
care for them.
It's, I usually don't tell people they're in there and they don't usually know. I'm not a big anchovy fan either, but I like a little taste. Hold on
Yes.
one second.
It's time to put the pasta in.
Our pasta water is boiling.
Time to put
Okay.
that in there.
Let's just go there.
Into
There
our
we go.
salted water.
The salted water. Now this is a pound of pasta, angel hair. Okay, or thin spaghetti.
This is thin spaghetti. You
Whoop.
can use angel hair, capellini. You can use whatever type of pasta you like. You could even put this dish over rice.
You know, that would be a good idea too. You know, it's interesting. The pasta water, you know, you can use as a sauce. It will thicken your sauce if you need, because the starch in it.
Okay.
And so that'll only take about 4 or 5 minutes, I think, and
That's
that'll be
right.
done.
That'll
Okay.
be done.
Let's see,
And
we're doing
this
well on
is
this.
doing very nicely. We need
Oh,
to
looks
add a
beautiful.
little bit. That should be good.
And I like it. It's just getting a little bit. I call it a little viscous. It's not watery. It's like got a little. How would I say that? It kind of is a real smooth sauce.
Yes,
You know? So
yes.
that's good. We stir our pasta again just to keep it going there. All right.
Okay, and then
Now-
we want to put the basil. This is
Okay.
fresh basil.
All the basil in?
No,
pretty
I
much?
would say
You want
a handful.
handful?
I would say a handful.
You
of
want to leave a
basil,
little for the
yes.
top, maybe too,
Sure.
to garnish it
Yep.
when we're done.
That would be great.
Okay. So just put that right in.
Okay.
Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for joining us on our Daily Bread. We're just going to add a little more seasoning here, we decided. And I want to thank Carol, and I want to thank everyone who was on the program today to teach us a little bit about ministry, a little bit about service, and really what's expected of us who are followers of the gospel of Jesus the Lord. These things that people are doing are not extraordinary, but they're wonderful things to help people. But not only to help them, to teach them, to let them know that we care about them because we preach and we teach in the name of the Lord Jesus. May God bless this food and all that we have through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I think the pasta is just right. I think
Yes,
the
it is.
sauce is terrific.
Good.
Thanks for being with us today. Cheers.
My pleasure.